Great. So welcome everyone. Namaste. It's wonderful to be here with you again on this beautiful day. And today's just going to be an Oliver kind of delicious flow, a little bit more focus on the side body and lateral stretching. Open up the lungs, take nice, bigger, deeper breaths. It's the time of year where things can get a little stuck in the lungs as we tap into that rainy season. So that's what we'll be focused on. Just a little heads up, we have a yoga book club coming up in 2 Fridays from now, April 24th. The information is in Andrew's latest newsletter, so check it out. Please join us for a nice discussion on yoga and yoga philosophy, and just an opportunity to communicate with other people about, stuff that you like. All right, so let's begin. I'm gonna go ahead and mute everyone, and then we'll jump into the practice here, okay? So please make sure you have some sort of blanket. If you don't have a blanket like the kind we have in the studios typically, you can use a beach towel or something like that. A nice large beach towel would be good. And then we'll start out seated on that folded blanket, sitting nice and tall. All right, let me just get this right there. Okay, good. I think that'll work. All right. So sitting tall on your blanket. Drawing one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Feeling the breath move through the body. Feeling the inhales expand the belly. Feeling the exhales draw the navel towards the spine. Inhaling, belly expand. Exhale, navel draws in towards the spine. And we'll continue there a few more rounds with your breath. And now start to increase the capacity of your breathing so that the rib cage moves too. And you can draw both hands to the rib cage there to feel the movement of the ribs. Inhaling into the thoracic cavity, you'll feel the ribs move as you do this. Exhaling, feeling the ribs relax. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest expand. Exhale, relax. Good. And now hands to the armpit, chest area. Breath all the way up into the chest as well now. Exhaling, releasing behind the navel. Inhaling, belly, ribs, chest all expand. And exhale, release. Continue to feel the breath move through the entire upper torso. We're engaging complete yogic breathing, also known as diaphragmatic breathing, so that you're breathing all the way into the space behind the collarbones, and then exhaling, feeling the navel draw towards the back body. Inhaling, breath expands out and up. Exhaling, relax the navel back. Please continue there a few more rounds. Now we're just feeling the whole torso move with the breath, feeling the body start to come alive. And then back to one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest, continuing to feel that full, complete breath. And then setting an intention for today to just feel the whole body, to be established in presence in your being. Not in the past, not in the future, just be here now. One more deep breath here. And slowly release the arms by your sides. Up and over to the side. So we'll inhale, reach the left arm up and over, and exhale, take it over to the side. And then we'll do it to the other side. Inhaling up. I'm sorry, I'll mirror you. This time we'll do the other side. Good. And just go side to side with your breath now. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Big fan with the arms. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. And just really listening to the sound of that big, deep breath as you fan. And then land on the side that you began with. Go all the way up and over and land. Maybe the hand rests on the floor. Maybe some of you can take the forearm to the floor. Wherever you are, keep the opposite hip rooted towards the floor. Try not to hunch over, but send the navel towards the ceiling. And now find that complete yogic breath. Inhaling, feeling the belly, ribs, chest all expand. Exhaling, feeling the navel draw in and relax. Inhaling, belly, ribs, chest all expand. Exhaling, navel draws in and relax. A few more breaths here. And let's come up, inhale, and exhale over to the other side. Landing there, anchoring the opposite hip down, and then rotating the navel towards the ceiling, and feeling that full, complete yogic breath. Inhaling, rising, and exhaling, returning to center, leaning back, switching the cross of the legs. Nice circles with the upper body, mortar and pestle. Inhaling forward, exhaling back and around. Inhaling forward, exhaling back and around. Starting to let the head swing into it if it feels good. Other direction, inhaling forward, exhaling back and around. Inhaling forward, exhaling. A few more rounds, synchronizing with the breath. Full, complete, big breaths, yummy, delicious breaths. Good, one more complete round here. And then land back and center. Excellent. Take a moment, notice how you feel. And let's shift into tabletop position. Shoulders over elbows over wrists, knees, hips distance apart. Send the right leg back, coming to the ball of the right foot, and push through the heel to stretch out the calf for a moment. Find your breath nice and smooth and steady. Still completing that complete yogic breath whenever possible. And then starting to allow that right foot to cross over the left ankle, gaze over the left shoulder at your foot, lean into the right side body and bow the right ribs a little bit here. Complete yogic breath, getting all three parts, belly, ribs, chest. abdominal, thoracic, clavicular. And slowly returning back to center. Let's try this on the other side. Push through the ball of the left foot, push through the heel. Get long in the back of the leg, find that breath. And just use the breath as an anchor tonight. The mind will swing back and forth like a pendulum all day long, maybe in circles, going all frenetic. Cross the left foot over the right ankle. But if you anchor in that breath, you can start to be established in the present moment, gazing over the shoulder at the foot, leaning into the left side body. And when you're established in that present moment, all the anxiety, all the guilt, all those other emotions associated with the past and future start to dissipate. So be in the breath, be in the moment, full big breaths. Slowly returning back to center. Inhaling, lifting the heart and sitting bones in cow. Exhale, rounding out the spine like a cat. Continuing with those two. Inhale, expanding the heart forward and up. Exhaling, rounding it out. Full, complete breaths now. Inhaling. And exhaling. A couple more rounds. Cow to down dog. Inhale, lift the heart and sitting bones. Exhale, downward facing dog. Back and forth, in and out of those two poses. Inhale, cow. Exhale, downward facing dog. With your breath, continuing on with those two. One more breath here, and then we'll all meet in downward facing dog. When you come into down dog, start to refine the pose. Traction the balls of the feet towards the back of the mat. Take a slight bend of the knees. Push the sitting bones up and back. Push into the heels of the hands, and now breathe that complete yogic breath. Full deep breaths, feeling the whole body with the breath. Start to bend the left knee now and dip the right chest down towards the floor. Bowing the chest down so that you really work and open up the shoulder girdle and the armpit chest area. One more breath here, and then we'll switch sides. Bend the right knee, dip the left chest down. Open up the armpit chest. Landing back in center, big inhale and big exhale. Inhaling in through tabletop. Exhaling, preparing for puppy pose. So the hips stay stacked above the knees, but the arms walk forward and the forehead comes to the mat. And the chest dips down nice and heavy here. And if you feel like you can handle more, you can draw the chin towards the mat or create an isometric contraction by pulling the forearms against your mat towards the shoulders. Keep dipping the chest down, breathe. And now slowly start to walk the hands in underneath the shoulders. Lower back, lower the belly towards the floor and roll onto your side. Come onto the forearms, stack the hips, stack the legs. So that, for me, it's my left forearm. I'm not sure which way you're facing for the screen, but whatever works. The elbow is directly under the shoulder. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a slight sling with the left side of my body. So it's swinging down kind of like a hammock a little bit here. The other hand can be in front of you. And you just lay down there for a minute and just hang out. Some of you, this might feel intense, some of you not so much. But we're not pushing the shoulder away, we're just letting it hang. Finding that complete yogic breath, anchoring in the breath, and treating the practice just as you would a meditation, right? If the mind gets distracted, then you just honor and witness those thoughts and come right back to the breath. Some of you, this is intense and you'll stay here. Some of you will take it a little bit further by coming up a little bit and coming to the palm, sending that palm in front of your shoulder, and then really starting to recreate the heaviness of that sling, and the opposite hands in front of you. Using the hands for support, slowly start to come up. We'll take this on the other side, so just go ahead and switch sides. You might notice a great sense of freedom in the side that we just worked. Opening up space to take bigger, deeper breaths. A perfect tool for this time, or any time, but really for this time in particular. All right, so forearm on the floor, hands in front of you. Stacking the hips, stacking the feet, the legs, letting the body hang out, anchoring in on the breath. Feeling the breath move through the body. Listening to the sound of the breath. Smoothing it out. Managing the pace, nice and slow. Just tapping into the subtle, tapping into the subtle. Some of you will stay here, some of you will take it further, hand out beyond the shoulder a little bit. Recreating that sling in the side body. Smoothing out the breath, longer, deeper. Slowly start to come up to your seat. Taking a moment, noticing how you feel. How open those lymph nodes are underneath the arms and the side body. And now we'll just do a little bit of abdominal opening as well as side body. So you have your blanket or your towel, and you'll just go ahead and roll it up. And this roll is going to go underneath the bottom parts of my rib cage, not in the space between my rib and hip, but more on the bottom half of my ribs. So it will be right under the ribs. So I'll put it down here towards kind of like the top third of my mat, and then not on my waistline, but let the bottom half of your ribs rest here. Maybe use a block or a pillow underneath your head. Or maybe the head comes on the floor. For me, it's my left arm. For you, I'm not sure, but finding that left arm in front of you, and then maybe the right arm overhead. So this is kind of maxing out with the arm overhead, depending upon your shoulder mobility. If that doesn't work, place your head on the block, place your arm just somewhere where you can get a little bit more opening in the front. Maybe it'll be behind you here, maybe it'll be here, but you want this to just be nice and open. So landing here for a little bit, breathing those full, complete breaths back to your meditation on the breath. One more breath. Good, and then slowly use your hands for support, and you can just roll over, flip over to the other side. I'm going to switch the side of my mat so you all can see, but that's going underneath what's now my right rib cage, on the bottom portion of my ribs, and either head on block, right arm in front of me, or head on the floor, left arm overhead. Knees can be bent, legs relaxed. And then we anchor in on the breath again, complete yogic breathing. So we want to fill all parts of the lungs. We want to oxygenate the blood, oxygenate the brain, oxygenate the tissues with our breathing. You want to work the elasticity of your diaphragm so that it can take bigger, deeper breaths and be more fluid. Listen to the breath. Let the breath be big, smooth, steady. One more breath here. And then slowly start to use the hands for support and come to lay down on your back. Excuse me. Taking a moment with the feet mat's distance, the knees up and the thighs knocking into each other. Just noticing the quality of the thoracic cavity, of this area of the middle spine, the rib cage, and feeling the buoyancy and the levity of the lungs and the diaphragm now. Good, and now we'll take a supported bridge pose. So take your feet back to sitting bones distance apart or hips distance apart. The heels are kind of in towards your seat, and then lift up the hips and place a block at either low or middle height here. I wouldn't go too high right now. We're kind of more in the restorative section of this practice, but just kind of land here for a moment. And draw the hands to the abdominals, maybe one hand to the belly, one hand to the rib area or the chest, and just feel the breath again. Tap in. Connect to that subtle quality. Excellent. Notice how still the mind starts to become as we slow down and anchor and pay attention to the breath. Ground into the heels, lift up the hips, remove the block. And then take that rolled up blanket or towel that you have and place it in your hip crease. And then start to, start to extend the right leg on the floor and lift the left leg up and hug that blanket in towards the belly with the left thigh. Now it's not going to be too tight. This is a subtle movement, but you'll feel it in the end, I promise. So go ahead and rotate the hips to the right, and then take your arms out like a T, get both shoulder blades towards the floor, and then your right hand can rest on the outer left thigh. And so that thigh to the blanket is causing a slight compression on the belly. And now we're focusing the breath on the belly. Still taking that diaphragmatic, complete yogic breath here. And just feeling the movement of the breath there. Inhaling, expanding the belly. Exhaling, navel towards the spine. Continue. Option to take the gaze over the fingertips. Let's start to unwind and take it on the other side. So knee comes up. We extend that leg. Take a moment. And then draw the other leg in, squeezing the blanket in towards the abdomen, and then rotating the hips and using the hand to draw the thigh a little closer towards the floor. Both shoulder blades flat on the floor, arms extended. Breathing, feeling the gentle expansion and relaxation of the belly now. So when we feel stressed, our breath tends to be shorter and in the upper part of the lungs. And this doesn't allow the parasympathetic rest and digest to start to happen. So what we're doing now is breathing a little bit more into the lower lungs, massaging the digestive tract, because digestion gets affected when the breath is so high up, right? All the organs that get massaged by deep, complete yogic breathing don't get the benefits when you're breathing up here. What you feel is more heart and chest constriction. So taking these deep breaths, taking time to practice diaphragmatic breathing and other exercises, very, very helpful in a modern, busy life, let alone during this time. Continue to anchor in on that breath. Smooth it out. Deepen the breath. And then slowly take the knee up and release the right leg towards the floor. We'll start to prepare for a brief Shavasana, taking the feet about as wide as the mat. You might even enjoy having that blanket back over the belly or a heavy pillow. If you have a sandbag at home, that would be delicious. Then you place it over the lower abdomen, pelvic belly, arms about as wide as the mat, palms up, and land in complete relaxation now. Inhaling, feeling the belly expand. Exhaling, feeling the belly relax. Releasing the movement from the chest, very little movement in the chest now, just belly breathing. Noticing the opening that started to happen in the belly, the looseness as you breathe here. And another big breath, and then start to release awareness in your breath and simply relax. Start to tap into your breath. And deepen the breath. Feeling the body come alive as you breathe. And starting to move the fingers and the toes and wiggle the ankles around. And taking your time to roll to your right side. And then slowly coming to your seat, sitting on a blanket or a block or a pillow, whatever's available to you at home. Keeping the hips a little bit higher than the knees. If you prefer to meditate in a chair, that's perfectly okay. But the lower back is supported and comfortable wherever you are. And now we'll do some pranayama before we settle in. A lot of you were in the immune integrity discussion. And so I feel like this is a good opportunity for us to practice what we learned again. Okay, so we really started to open up here. And so now we'll practice that pratiloma variation taught by John Douillard, Dr. John Douillard. So what we do is we gently constrict the nasal passages, not completely, but like 3/4. We inhale, a big inhale, and then we release the nostrils and exhale the breath out. We'll do that 10 times, and after the 10th time, we'll hold the exhale out for as long as we can, and then of course you take a breath whenever you need to. If that retention at the end causes strain or tension or makes you anxious or nervous, do not do the retention. Just take normal breaths until we start the second round, okay? All right, here we go. So your hands can be like this. You can do a fancy mudra if you want, or you can just hold it with your thumb and ring finger, whatever works, all right? Here we go. Holding the breath out. Taking a breath whenever you need, a regular breath. Good, and we'll repeat that 2 more times. On these next 2 rounds, just pay specific attention to your diaphragm. It's the muscle that sits underneath the lungs, kind of like a parachute, okay? Does anyone have any questions? I unmuted you, so if you have one now, you can ask one. All right, let's go for it. Holding the breath out. And moving on to your 3rd round whenever you're ready. This time, really nestling in the power of the pause during that retention. When you're ready, you'll return to a regular breathing pattern. And continue to practice this pause, this stillness, not so much holding the breath, but more stillness in the body, stillness in the mind. Notice the great space you've created, the emptiness, and linger there for a while. Staying in the silence, in the space, the pause. Recognizing the divine in silence. Drawing the chin towards the chest and the hands to heart center, creating a little heat between the hands, and placing your closed cupped hands over the eyes. Noticing that profound darkness, that blank slate, and noticing what comes up on the screen of consciousness, if anything at all. Drawing the hands back to heart center, chin towards the chest, taking a moment to recognize the value of our breath, that prana rides it, and that it is the bridge between the body and the mind, and that by controlling our breath, we can also manage our body, mind, sense complex. So let's vow to take smooth, complete breaths as we go through our upcoming weeks. Bowing down in the gratitude to the Guru lineage. Namaste. Y'all have a lovely weekend.